The Rams are forced to make some impossible decisions on the offensive line. We are, of course, talking about the health scare and the situation with Alaric Jackson at left tackle. Also discussing the recent signing of DJ Humphries, all on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Giron. Remember, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor. Press that subscribe button now, as roughly 69.5% of you guys are already watching the videos, but you're still not pressing that subscribe button. If you're watching, might as well press it. It doesn't cost you a thing. Do us a favor so you don't miss any daily Rams content here at the Rams Digest. Joshua Feinhersh and I both obviously really appreciate everyone who has subscribed to the channel already, but if you're not subscribed, do us that favor and press that subscribe button. First things first, on today's episode, we are discussing some unfortunate news, a little bit of a scary update, if you will, when we're talking about the health of Alaric Jackson. Now, of course, I do want to emphasize I care mostly first about the health of the person, not necessarily the player. We're, of course, going to discuss the implications the Rams have in terms of their offense and their plans for, of course, contending for a Super Bowl this year. How that has been affected, we'll discuss all of that in a second, but I just want to kind of emphasize first, I am rooting for the person, Alaric Jackson, to be as healthy as he possibly can be, and blood clots is a scary diagnosis for anyone, any athlete, any person. It is very scary to deal with, especially when we're talking about athletes who, that this is how they make their living, right? Of course, they want to be as healthy as possible off the field as well, and so, I just want to make sure I put that forward first, really hoping and praying for Alaric Jackson to be as healthy as he possibly can be sooner rather than later for himself, not even for the football implication side of things. But when we're talking about the NFL news roundup here, Rams signing veteran offensive tackle DJ Humphries as Alaric Jackson does deal with blood clots. And it's a scary diagnosis. We've seen, athletes like Chris Bosh, right, be forced into retirement because of this. Obviously, this past season, I'm talking about basketball for some reason, but Victor Wembanyama, Victor Wembanyama, the young star in the NBA, dealing with those blood clots as well, and his shoulder, had to miss the rest of the season. So obviously, however long it takes for Alaric Jackson, we're hoping he's just healthy, but it is possible that this takes a while to deal with, to heal up from, to obviously be back to playing shape, all that good stuff. That's obviously going to affect the planning of the season moving forward for the Rams this upcoming year. And so that obviously does have a lot of huge implications, and we'll give a breakdown here. We're talking about the injury first. Alaric Jackson dealing with blood clots. NFL Network insiders Ian Rappaport, Mike Garafolo, and Tom Pelissero reported together. While the belief is Jackson will play in the 2025 season, there are still some questions as to his availability. Jackson, who just signed a 3-year, $57 million extension in February, has started 35 of 41 regular season games played for the Rams since he arrived as an undrafted free agent in 2021. The 26-year-old offensive lineman dealt with blood clots in 2022 when he was ruled out mid-season after 8 games. So that is positive, right? He's dealt with this before in the past. That's not necessarily positive, but he's dealt with it before. He's overcome it before in the past. The fact that it's a reoccurring injury, a reoccurring issue, that is where things get a little bit scary, of course. Again, for the person, Alaric Jackson, of course, as a player as well, that's going to affect him. If it's not safe for him to play again, or a health risk for him to play again, that, of course, is going to affect his availability for the Rams, his availability to ever play football again. Again, scary things. Not that that's up in the air right now, but again, the assumption is he's going to play. But again, just how long is it going to take for him to kind of recover from this after a second time dealing with this time around, right? But the Rams did make a signing. They signed offensive tackle DJ Humphries, signed a 1-year deal with Los Angeles. The team announced Humphries, he's 31 years old, reportedly agreed to terms with San Francisco in April, but never officially signed. The veteran offensive lineman is entering his 10th season in the NFL after 8 years in Arizona, including 1 Pro Bowl season. Humphries spent the 2024 season in Kansas City, starting just 2 regular season games. So kind of interesting to have a player join coming from Arizona, staying within a division, apparently going to sign with the San Francisco 49ers, apparently agreed to sign, and then decided to, for some reason or another, not sign the contract, come over to Los Angeles, remain in a division, kind of bouncing from division rival to division rival, and now going to stay in Los Angeles for the upcoming season. Again, we'll talk about DJ Humphries in a second, but just kind of want to acknowledge this is a kind of an interesting situation for the Rams. You're starting left tackle. You don't want any starter when you're going into a season trying to win a Super Bowl. You don't want any starter to be dealing with any type of injuries. You understand in football, you're going to deal with that, but it is a scary situation for the Rams to now have a left tackle who's dealing with blood clots, a scary diagnosis that could keep him out for a lot of this season, at least for the prep of this season, right, leading up to the beginning of the year. And so not having your starting left tackle is a key hit to the roster. The Rams going out, though, and signing DJ Humphries, being proactive in that sense, it is a very positive thing, I think. A veteran in this league. He played, for the Super Bowl roster last year, was suited up for the Super Bowl, played 2 regular season games, but as of 2023, I believe it was. I can pull this up right now in a second when we're talking about, and I'll pull a picture up of DJ Humphries while we discuss it. But we're talking about a guy who, as of recently was playing quite a bit of games, right? You go back to his Arizona time. I'm pulling it up here for you guys right now. He played in the 2023 NFL season with the Arizona Cardinals, played 925 offensive snaps. So we're not talking about a guy who isn't really accustomed to playing. Obviously, a guy who's been a veteran in this game for a long time. Dealt with a ACL tear, I believe, back in 2024. But overall, 2024 played 2 games for the Chiefs. Available data cutoff, he played 92 offensive snaps back for the Chiefs. In 2023, played 15 games for the Cardinals. 925 offensive snaps. Sorry, I'm repeating this stuff. Also played 60 offensive snaps in Week 14, where he left due to injury. Over his career, has started 98 games, primarily at left tackle, which is what the Rams need right now. Tore his ACL in December 2023, signed with the Rams after recovering. So, we're talking about a big offensive lineman, according to ESPN right now. If I pull his numbers up, I thought I had him up here, maybe not. But he's talking about a guy who's, 6'5", 2 something. It must be 300 pounds, actually. Let's see. DJ Humphries, we're talking about a guy who's 31 years old, 6'5", 307 pounds. So a big offensive lineman, a lot of experience, former first-round pick, former Pro Bowler. Is he going to be a Pro Bowl level left tackle this upcoming season? Not necessarily, but that's not what the Rams need him to be. They need him to be a capable offensive lineman in the run game, capable, reliable in the passing game, protecting the blind side of their star quarterback, their veteran quarterback, Matthew Stafford, and that is all he needs to do for hopefully just a few weeks. And ultimately, if he's playing great, but we are hoping Alaric Jackson can be healthy sooner rather than later, because that is the key for the Rams. Your star left tackle that you just paid a good amount of money, you want him to be healthy and available for you, so that way you can compete at the highest of your ability this upcoming season. NFL teams are used to dealing with injuries. This happens to every single team. People deal with injuries left and right. So I think the Rams can be accustomed to dealing with this and handling this in the appropriate manner. But it is unfortunate that we're seeing this happen for the Rams. Again, specifically for Alaric Jackson. Wishing him nothing but the best sooner rather than later. How do you guys feel about everything? Are you guys nervous about Alaric Jackson stepping out with DJ Humphries stepping in? How do you feel about it? And do you feel like the Rams maybe had a guy on roster that you like better for this position? Let me know how you guys feel about that in the comment section down below. As we're actually discussing really quickly, they have a little bit of a tough decision to deal with when we're talking about one of their potential swing tackles on their bench. We're talking about their bench left tackle / right tackle, discussing the young former 2-time champion, if you will, from college. I believe we're talking about Warren McClendon. And so they have a difficult decision to make, right? The Rams do. Are they going to release him? We're talking about them clearly not trusting him enough to not go out and sign DJ Humphries at the left tackle position. So, you're not really liking Warren McClendon to step in that role. Maybe he's the backup right tackle, but are you going to keep 2 tackles on your depth for your roster? That's kind of an interesting conversation to have as well. Here we're talking about over the past 2 weeks, the Rams have signed 2 experienced tackles, right? Not just DJ Humphries. They recently signed David Quessenberry as well. So kind of an interesting thing. What are they going to do with Warren McClendon? Is he a guy who's obviously shown some flashes at times to be a capable right tackle, especially for the Rams, but it could be an indication that they are not necessarily considering him to be that consistent swing tackle. I heard Sean McVay talk about him a little bit, happy with what he's doing at the right tackle position, considering him playing on the left side, being that swing tackle, but it's not necessarily something they seem super confident in, as again, they've signed 2 veteran offensive linemen to play that tackle role, right? So not confident in him enough. What are they going to do with Warren McClendon? Not necessarily a major story, but just something to kind of think about. We see a tweet here coming from Blaine Grissack saying, don't want to get too carried away. A lot to like about Warren McClendon at right tackle for the Rams. McClendon showed a lot of potential at right tackle, consistently locking down that right side. I got a screenshot here. He's to the left a little bit. I'm not sure if you guys can see, but he's blocking like I think a 96, 95 kind of player next to the 92 on the left-hand side. So, locking it down, having some good moments for sure. We can see overall just kind of an interesting little behind the offensive lineman, behind Rob Havenstein, behind maybe DJ Humphries and David Quessenberry. Is McClendon going to be a guy they can keep and rely on in the future? We'll wait and see on it. It's a tough decision for the Rams to have to make. Are they going to move on from him sooner rather than later? We'll wait and see on that. But as an offensive lineman, I think depth piece I kind of like on the right side of the offensive line. We'll wait and see if the Rams are confident enough to keep him on the roster moving forward, as they've already just added, again, like I said, a couple of veterans. We'll wait and see on that. Moving on from that, last but not least, my favorite part of the episode, where I ask a trivia question of the day. You guys give your trivia guesses down below. Whether you're right, whether you're wrong, we give you a shout out on the next episode that I personally am on. Last episode, trivia of the day, we had this question here, and it was a fun one, I thought. How many Heisman Trophy winners have gone on to be MVP of the Super Bowl? I think a very interesting question. I thought a challenging one. That's almost a guess shot in the dark for most people, right? Unless you really, really know your football history, your Heisman Trophy winner history. It's a really tough one to kind of know off the top of your head. The multiple choice options were, was it 2 trophy winners that won MVP in the Super Bowl? Was it 3? Was it 4? Or was it 5? So 2, 3, 4, or 5 were the multiple choice options of how many Heisman Trophy winners have gone on to win the Super Bowl. We had a few of you guys play along at home. I appreciate all of you guys for playing along every single time you do, whether you're right or whether you're wrong. Always appreciate it. Floyd guesses 2. Brian B says 3 is my guess. He also commented about some other things, saying if the Rams want another tight end, they should trade for one. They should trade one of their tight ends to save draft capital and not overstock tight ends on the team. We do have a lot of tight ends on the roster. It's a great point, Brian B. I don't think they're going to make a trade for a tight end. Zach says 4, I'm pretty sure. Glider says 3. And then we had the real J. Will saying, I'm going to say 2, Roger Staubach and some other old guy. I appreciate all of you guys for playing along with the trivia of the day. The correct answer for the trivia of the day question was 4. How many Heisman Trophy winners have gone on to be MVP of the Super Bowl? 4 people have done it before. A couple have been almost winners that won the MVP, almost Heisman Trophy winners, or Heisman Trophy winners that almost had a good game in the Super Bowl but didn't become the MVP of their Super Bowl they played in. So shout out to Zach, who's the only one who got it correctly. Appreciate all of you guys again for playing along. Whether you're right, whether you're wrong, I do not mind. I do want to take a second real quick. I know we're running a little bit late, a little long on this episode already, but I want to take a second to give you guys a shout out of who won the Heisman Trophy winner and the Super Bowl MVPs. So we had Roger Staubach in 1972. He was a player for Dallas who won Super Bowl MVP, was also a Heisman Trophy winner. We had Jim Plunkett out of Oakland in 1981. He was a Super Bowl MVP, but also had won a Heisman in the past. We had Marcus Allen for the Raiders and Jim Plunkett for the Raiders, which they don't really count as 2, but Marcus Allen winning Super Bowl MVP was also a former Heisman Trophy winner. I believe he was the first running back as well to win Super Bowl MVP. And then we had, last but not least, Desmond Howard of the Green Bay Packers. Desmond Howard was the 4th and last Heisman winner to win MVP. So appreciate all of you guys for playing along with trivia of the day. If you want a shout out just like these folks got on the next episode, then go ahead and play along with today's trivia of the day, which is this question here. Oh, that's not the question. Today's trivia of the day is this question here. Which state has produced more Hall of Famers than any other states? I think this is a little bit of a tough one. If you're from a particular state, I think you may believe it's your state, but I know the correct answer for which state has produced the most Hall of Famers than any other state. That's the question I asked, right? First time. Okay. Is it A, California, where I'm from? Is it B, Ohio? Is it C, Pennsylvania? Or is it D, Texas? California, Texas kind of get a lot of, they get a lot of good football players, got a lot of good athletes in general come out of those states because those states are so big. But there is only one correct answer here. This state has produced, so which state has produced more Hall of Famers than any other state? Give your guesses down below in the comment section. Whether you're right, whether you're wrong, we'll give you a shout out on the next episode. Is it A, California? Is it B, Ohio? Is it C, Pennsylvania? Or is it D, Texas? Give your guesses down below in the comment section. Again, whether you're right or whether you're wrong, we'll give you a shout out. That's going to do it for me on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I am your host, Joshua Giron, and I am out.